Live at 4, this is 13 News Now.
A soggy start to the work week. Look at the radar right now. You see all that green. It shows the rain that's falling over Hampton roads right now. Good evening. I'm Janet Roach.
And I'm Regina Mobley. Thanks for joining us. The rain and the cooler temperatures have a lot of us wondering, do we really have snow chances all over again? Let's check it now with Evan.
Well, there is certainly a chance of some snow showers into the day tomorrow, but we've really been talking about a lot of the wet weather across Hampton roads, and that'll be the case as we go through the afternoon. Some light rain, some mist and drizzle around. And as we go through the day tomorrow, a chance for a few snow showers as well. I'll be tracking those chances coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Evan. Developing now, a 15-year-old Heritage High School student is in the hospital tonight. Police say the teen was shot while waiting at a Newport News bus stop this morning. The suspect is still on the run. 13 News Now reporter Elise Brown spoke to concerned parents.
Kids of all ages wait for the bus out here. Parents tell us they're terrified.
It scares me because he ran in the house and was like, "Mom, we got shot at." And I was like, "What?"
A scary morning for the Jackson family. Their 16-year-old loved one standing at the bus stop next to the Heritage High School teen who was shot. Investigators say the person doing the shooting was inside of a red SUV.
What happened was, when we started shooting, he just ducked down and grabbed the other guy. And that's when the guy threw his leg up. That's how he got a bullet in his leg.
It happened just before 6:45 in the morning near the intersection of 33rd Street and Marshall Avenue. This mother and grandmother beside themselves.
It's crazy out here.
The family called 911 to help the injured 15-year-old who cried in pain. Newport News public school officials tell 13 News Now counseling is available for those who need it.
Something needs to be done. Because at the end of the day, if I look at it, it could have been my child.
And I think he's kind of traumatized a little bit. I think he really is.
Also traumatized, other parents who bring their kids to the bus stop. Nichelle Swinney heard the shots. She and her 4-year-old son waited for the bus just hours after the shooting.
I'm trying to move from this area as soon as possible because I fear for my kids.
I'm kind of scared, because it could happen again.
In Newport News, Elise Brown, 13 News Now.
A former Portsmouth police officer is denied bond. Last year, a jury convicted Stephen Rankin of fatally shooting an unarmed teenager in Portsmouth. 13 News Now reporter Allie Weatherton was inside the courtroom, and Allie, Rankin was probably upset with this decision.
Yeah, Rankin didn't show much emotion as he walked out of the courtroom, but his family did. Many were shaking their heads and were emotional. The former Portsmouth police officer was found guilty in 2016 of voluntary manslaughter. Rankin shot and killed 18-year-old William Chapman after responding to Walmart for a shoplifting call in April of 2015. Chapman was not armed. A judge sentenced Rankin to 2.5 years in prison. So far, he's served 15.5 months. This morning, a judge denied him bond, but Rankin's case will still move through the appeals process. The Court of Appeals agrees with the defense on 2 issues: allegations that a juror had conversations with a person who supported the Chapman family. The second one, an expert not allowed to testify. Take a listen to both attorneys about the motion being denied.
He should be subject to the time that the jury said he needed to serve.
I'm not surprised that this came out the way it did, but ultimately it doesn't change, again, how we proceed. We have oral arguments next week, and we'll move forward from here.
Now the case will move through the Court of Appeals. A 3-panel judge will hear the case next week and decide if Rankin will get a retrial. Coming up at 13 News Now at 5, hear what will happen if a retrial is granted and Rankin is found guilty again. Allie Weatherton, 13 News Now.
New information, 21-year-old Jamel Hicks is charged in the shooting death of 20-year-old Antonio Parker. Norfolk police say they found Parker suffering from a gunshot wound inside an apartment around 5:15 last night. The apartment is on Cedar Street in the Compostela area of the city. So far, we do not know if there was a motive in this crime.
New information about Brianna Sullivan. She's the Virginia Beach woman charged with killing her husband back in July. Today, a judge reduced a second-degree murder charge to voluntary manslaughter. The judge says she did not find that Sullivan killed her husband in malice. Sullivan says she shot the man after he threatened to kill her. A firearm charge was dismissed. Sullivan is set to face a grand jury next month. She is in jail without bond.
Series of car break-ins in Chicks Beach ends with one man's car being stolen in an unusual way. Last week, Murray Ashman says he came out of his driveway and his car was gone. He filed a report with Virginia Beach Police. After sharing his experience online with his neighbors, he realized other cars had been broken into as well. But Ashman says the thief was able to take his car for a joyride after they discovered something in his owner's manual.
Rifling through cars up and down the street until they found one that had a spare key in the glove compartment. So that's how they got my car. So this is the kind of thing that could happen to anyone.
Ashman said he forgot about that spare valet key that was in his owner's manual. His car was recovered the same night in Hampton, but he hopes sharing his story will be a reminder to others.
A former Virginia State trooper admits to writing bogus tickets while on duty on the Eastern Shore. Johnny Godwin must complete 100 hours of community service. Back in 2016, he was accused of writing court summons for offenses that never occurred. In 3 cases, he even signed someone else's name. Godwin says he made poor choices under pressure. Godwin originally faced felony charges. A plea agreement brought that down to 3 misdemeanor charges.
A program that helps mentally ill inmates get out of jail is running out of money. Hampton Roads Regional Jail administrators want the pilot program to continue. HRRJ was one of the 6 jails involved in the program last year. The initiative gives inmates who suffer from mental illness access to housing, clothing, and food after they're released. In Governor Northam's proposed budget, an amendment to 2 bills would maintain that program funding.
Little sensors make a big impact when it comes to planning in Hampton Roads. On each truck at Norfolk International Terminals, there's a GPS unit that streams data to planners at VDOT. That allows planners to see what interstate truckers use. Inside Business reports the data will help determine which future projects get funding from the federal government. Data collected already shows a majority of the trucks use I-64 on the peninsula.
Are you interested in working for the federal government? If so, you can check out different career opportunities at a fair in Norfolk. The event is for college students and recent graduates. It's this Wednesday from 10 o'clock in the morning until 2 in the afternoon. It's at the Norfolk District U.S. Army Corps of Engineers headquarters on Front Street. Some of the agencies that will be there include U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, NOAA, and Langley Air Force Base.
Rezoning and new schools, those are among the major topics Isle of Wight Schools is tackling this year, and they want to hear from you. The division is holding meetings on their long-term plans. The meetings will happen in the next 2 Mondays. February 5th's event is at Smithfield High School. The one on the 12th is at Windsor High School. Both meetings start at 6 o'clock at night.